Exodus 34:28. So he was there, Moses, with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water. And he, the Lord, wrote on the tables of stone the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments.
In that he says a new covenant, he has made the first obsolete. Now that which is becoming obsolete is growing old, ready to vanish away. The ceremonial system was fulfilled when Jesus died on the cross. What?
The words of the covenant,
the 10 Commandments.
In that he says a new covenant, he has made the first
Obsolete.
What is the covenant? The 10 Commandments.
In the holiest I saw an ark. On the top and sides of it was purest gold. On each end of the ark was a lovely cherub, with its wings spread out over it. Their faces were turned toward each other, and they looked downward. Between the angels was a golden censer. Above the ark, where the angels stood, was an exceeding bright glory, that appeared like a throne where God dwelt. Jesus stood by the ark, and as the saints' prayers came up to him, the incense in the censer would smoke, and he would offer up their prayers with the smoke of the incense to his Father. In the ark was the golden pot of manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of stone which folded together like a book. Jesus opened them, and I saw the 10 Commandments written on them with the finger of God. On one table were 4, and on the other 6. The 4 on the first table shone brighter than the other 6. But the fourth, the Sabbath commandment, shone above them all, for the Sabbath was set apart to be kept in honor of God's holy name. The holy Sabbath looked glorious. A halo of glory was all around it. I saw that the Sabbath commandment was not nailed to the cross. If it was, the other 9 commandments were, and we are at liberty to break them all, as well as to break the 4th. I saw that God had not changed the Sabbath, for he never changes. But the Pope had changed it from the 7th to the first day of the week, for he was to change times and laws.
When Ellen White incorporates Hebrews into her vision, she acknowledges that the 10 Commandments are the first covenant of Exodus 34:28, that the 10 Commandments are the first covenant kept inside the Ark of the Covenant in Hebrews 9, the very reason why the Ark was so named. When she then proceeds to say that the first covenant of discussion in Hebrews 9, the 10 Commandments, were not nailed to the cross of Colossians 2:14, she opposes the author of Hebrews. The reason Hebrews went on in chapter 9 to describe the covenant in such detail was to make clear the object of obsolescence, the tablets inside the ark. The very last verse of the preceding chapter, 8, concludes with that statement of obsolescence, followed with the precise description of what is faded away, the tablets inside the ark. By opposing the author of Hebrews, Ellen White claims an authority superior to God's Word. She claims authority to correct God, making herself a God. By denying the biblical nullification of the 4th command on the authority of a seer, Adventist, albeit unknowingly in most cases, have violated the 1st command by following Ellen White as an authority above God. Doug Batchelor correctly identifies what a covenant is.
And what is a covenant? Well, a covenant is a pact, a treaty, an alliance, promise, or a binding agreement or contract between two parties of equal or unequal authority. Whenever you say New Testament, Old Testament, the word testament and covenant, same thing.
Now that Doug Batchelor agrees that the first covenant was the 10 Commandments, we may now move forward by acknowledging its replacement, the second, the new contract. And the new is a replacement, not a reinstatement or renewal of the first, because the first is set aside for obsolescence. It is no longer the document in legal force. A covenant is a contract. If you enter into a contract with a home builder to construct a house, there will be terms that both parties are obligated to fulfill. The contractor is obligated to abide by the home specifications as issued by the owner. Those specifications may require a blue house with a red roof and a green garage door. Likewise, the owner is required to abide by a schedule of payments to be made throughout the construction process. If both parties fulfill the terms of the contract, a final payment will be made in acknowledgment. What becomes of a contract after the project has been successfully completed and all payments made? By law, it goes into the file cabinet for 10 years as a historical document. It is no longer in legal force. Why? Because a contract is a legal instrument to ensure the successful completion of a goal. Once successfully completed, the insurance is nullified because, obviously, there is nothing left to complete. Jesus successfully built the house. He perfectly fulfilled all the terms of the first contract. Now that the contract has been fulfilled, as mentioned in Matthew 5:17 through 19, the contract is no longer a legal instrument to ensure the completion of fulfillment. It is nailed to the cross. It is now a historical document of reference to prove that not only did Jesus fulfill the law, but also the prophets. Now that Jesus has fulfilled the terms of the first contract, he has the authority to issue a new contract with new terms. As Doug said, a covenant is a contract and a testament. Both covenant and testament are translated from the same Greek word, and the new covenant is Jesus' last will and testament. We understand this also from Hebrews 9:16 and 17, and also at Galatians 3:15. It is illegal for anyone other than the testator to add or remove any term from a last will and testament. To do so is to commit a forgery of the most baser kind. And this is precisely what Ellen White has done by attempting to add a Sabbath command to the testator's last will and testament. There is no Sabbath command in the terms of the new contract, the testator's will. And that is why Ellen White has attempted to sneak one in by superseding God's word at Hebrews 8:13 with the visions of a seer. May God have mercy on all and preserve our souls for a better day.